his investigations, pathology and radiology, and their importance in the management of ARSH. Sir has completed his BAMS from KG Mittal Ayurved College, Mumbai. Sir has completed his MS, the first batch of Anushalya, Shalya Kshar Karma evam Anushastra Karma from YMT Ayurvedic Hospital and College, Navi Mumbai, Kharghar. Sir is also pursuing his PhD in Shalya Tantra from Dr. J.D. Paul Foundation, YMT Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital, Kharghar, Navi Mumbai. Sir has a special proficiency in Pils Fisher fistula and managing difficult fistula cases with conservative, panchakarma and invasive management as well. Sir is the owner of Sumantu Hospital, a specialty hospital in anorectal disorders at Karzat, Mumbai. Sir is also the director of Orthoved Hospital, Dombivli, the first hospital, Ayurvedic hospital in the district of Thane. Sir is currently working as a consulting Ayurvedic surgeon in Orthoved Hospital and Sumanto Hospital respectively. He has worked as a co-chairperson and resource person in 8th World Ayurvedic Congress and Arogya Expo 14-17 December 2018 at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. His study of dissertation was to study the efficacy of Agnikarma Chikitsa in Avabahu, of which he has conducted many patients and camps as well. Sir has a range of paper presentations in national and international journals. To mention a few, the study of the efficacy of Yashtimadu Siddha Tel Basti in acute fissure in ano in National Conference on Update Proctology held in 2011. To study the efficacy of Kadiradi Kwat Dhawan in the management of post-operative wound of Bagandara in 8th World Ayurveda Congress and Arogya Expo on December 2018, Gujarat. A case study of Panchavalkal Kwat Dhawan in the management of post-operative wound of Bagandara in World Ayush Expo held at SIDCO Exhibition Center, Vashi, Navi Mumbai. Sir has also published many articles. Bahir Parimarjan review of Lepa Chikitsa in Ayurlog in September 2013. Pils article published in Maharashtra Chamber Patrika in October-November 2000 edition as well. Has attended many workshops, consultative workshop on integrative approach to cancer, scientific meet training cum workshop on radiation and cancer, Jilla Stariya Arogya Melawa Raigad Jilla Parishad Arogya Vibhag Mangav, annual meeting on emergency challenges in GI surgery, national conference with live demonstration and hands-on training workshop in Ayur Kaushalya held in Navi Mumbai, Kharghar, instant pain relief free mega camp on 7th April 2018 at YMT Hospital, Kharghar. Sir has a vast experience in treating many anorectal disorders and his specialty lies in the treatment of fistula in ano with Shara Sutra and related modalities of management of fistula in ano. So I'll request Dr. Sunil Dhawale sir, a very dear friend of mine and my colleague as well for the last 10 years. We have been practicing together in the field of anorectal disorders. He has a very good surgical hand, a very good physician and a very good interpretation of all the anorectal disorders. I request Dr. Sunil Dhawale sir to kindly start his lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rishikesh sir. Thank you for warm welcome. Good afternoon, all of you. The topic of the lecture is ARSH, Investigations, Pathology and Radiology. मैं बहुत ही शुक्रगुजार हूँ श्रेयस ई लर्निंग एकेडमी का कि जिन्होंने ये मुझे अवसर आज प्रदान किया है कि जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन रिलेटेड जो टॉपिक है वो मैं आपके सामने पेश कर सकूं. थैंक यू. Before starting the lecture, you should think what should be our next step regarding the ARSH diagnosis. What is the most likely to be diagnosis? How would we confirm the diagnosis? This is the most important 3 points we will discuss in this lecture. First, what should be our next step? What is the most likely diagnosis? And third, how we confirm this diagnosis. Our goal is clear, so we can start the lecture. The most important lab investigation we have to do in case of the ARSH, that is the appropriate blood test include CBC count. Second is serum electrolyte. Third one is blood urea nitrogen, that is the BUN. Fourth one is the serum creatinine. Fourth one is the blood grouping and cross matching. Fifth one is the coagulation profile, that include APTT, prothrombin time, platelet count, and the bleeding time. And last but not the least, stool test. These are the most important lab investigation you have to do in case of the ARSH Chikitsa. First, we go with the CBC count. The complete blood count is a group of tests that evaluate the cell that circulate in the body, that is in the blood, including the RBC, WBC, and platelet. The CBC can evaluate your overall health and detect a variety of the disease and condition such as infection, anemia, and leukemia. The abnormal RBC, hemoglobin, or hematocrit level may indicate the anemia, which is the most important lab investigation in case of the ARSH Chikitsa. Hemoglobin level you have to know before treating the ARSH patient. Another cause of abnormal RBC is iron deficiency or the heart disease. The low white cell count may indicate an autoimmune disorder, bone marrow disorder, or cancer. The last stage of the ARSH leads to cancer. So you have to know the abnormality of the RBCs. The high WBC cell count may indicate an infection or a reaction to the medication. So you have to know the deep knowledge of the CBC, in which you have to know the hemoglobin count, you have to know the RBC, you have to know the WBC, and you have to know the platelet count. The next important lab investigation test is the blood urea nitrogen and serum creatinine. Although indirectly measure the kidney function is indeed the creatinine, not the BUN, but blood urea nitrogen is used by the nephrologist often to determine whether the patient is dehydrated or not. The most important another lab investigation is liver function test, that is the LFT. LFT are the set of tests by checking the amount of proteins, enzyme, and bilirubin present in the blood. These tests help to diagnose the liver infection, liver disease, or damage. It can evaluate or lower level of the one or more of these substances can be sign of the liver problem. This is the most important lab investigation in case of the ARSH patient. Next lab investigation is serum electrolyte. Serum electrolytes are electrically charged minerals that help and control the amount of fluid and balance of the acid and bases in our body. It also helps to control the muscle and nerve activity, heart rhythm, and other important function. It also helps your nerves and muscles work properly. The next point of lab investigation is coagulation profile. Coagulation profile includes PT-INR, APTT, platelet and fibrinogen. It is a screening test for the abnormal blood clotting because it examines the factors most often associated with the bleeding problems. The partial prothrombin time, partial thromboplastin time, that is the PTT, also known as the activated partial thromboplastin, that is APTT, is a screening test that helps to evaluate a person's ability to appropriately form blood clots. So APTT is very much important in case of the bleeding PR. It measures number of seconds it takes for the clot to form a sample of blood after the substance are added. The next is the prothrombin. It is a test used to detect and diagnose a bleeding disorder or excessive clotting disorder. The interventional normalized ratio is calculated from a PT and result to monitor how well the thinning medication like warfarin is working to prevent the blood. So APTT, that is the activated partial thromboplastin time, and PT-INR is very much important in case of the ARSH Chikitsa. Now, the last but not the least, the stool. The stool test, which is important in case of the ARSH Chikitsa. The stool analysis is done to help identify the diseases of the digestive tract, liver, and the pancreas. The certain enzymes such as trypsin or elastase may be evaluated in the stool to help and determine how well the pancreas is functioning. The stool culture is the test that detects and identifies the bacteria that causes infection of the lower digestive tract. The test distinguishes between the type of bacteria that causes the disease, that is the pathogenes, and the types that normally found in the digestive tract, that is the normal flora. We have to go with the fecal blood, that is the occult blood. You have to know the occult blood, when or from the which side the blood is comes in the stool. These are the most important lab investigation we have to do in each and every patient which is suffering from the ARSH or hemorrhoids. These are the slide for the lab investigation you have to do for each and every patient to do the necessary action to reach the goal to treat the patient of hemorrhoids. Bleeding. The PR bleeding, the passage of blood per rectum, is a common symptom due to the lesion of distal, small or large bowel. The fresh bleeding per rectum always present as a surgical emergency. The management of the bleeding involves first is the resuscitation, second is the determining the source of the bleeding, third one is the controlling the bleeding. This is the point you have to remember in case of the PR bleeding. Before we go with the lecture, you have to know the how we go with the rectal examination. The rectal examination may be required for many reasons, some of which are rectal bleeding, some of which are rectal itching, rectal pain, abdominal pain or pelvic pain as a part of the abdominal examination, passing stool, passing blood while stool, passing mucus, presence of lumps or other palpable abnormalities, and the neurological symptoms. According to site, the blood which comes from the small intestine is the melena. The blood which comes from the large intestine, that is the maroon shape. The third is the rectal or anal, is the fresh blood. What are the diagnoses or what are the conditions where the blood comes from the small intestine? These are the diseases, or these are the differential diagnoses according to the site. From if the blood comes from the small intestine, then it will be Meckel's diverticulum, intussusception, Crohn's disease, vascular ectasia, that is the angiodysplasia. Next one is the tumors are the rare, but it is occurs 50% will bleed. That is the leiomyomas, carcinomas, sarcomas, and the hemangiomas. And third one is the mesenteric vascular occlusion. The next one is the large intestine, that is the maroon shaped. It is divided into two types, that is the massive bleeding and the mild and moderate bleeding. In case of the massive, there is the involvement of the diverticulosis, vascular ectasia, that is the angiodysplasia, and in case of the mild and moderate, it will be cancer, polyp of any type, colitis, amoebic, bilharzial, ischemic, and endometriosis. This is the blood which comes from the large intestine. Third one is the rectal or anal bleeding, that is the fresh blood. The commonest cause of the fresh blood is the piles. The another one will be fistula, fissure, cancer polyp, prolapse, rupture perineal hematoma. You have to know according to the site, we have to know the differential diagnosis, that is the small intestine, large intestine, and the rectal or the anal bleeding. These are the types of lower GI bleeding, where how we can manage in case of the massive bleeding, in case of the moderate bleeding, and in case of the acute bleeding. This is the explanation where how we treat or how we diagnose the lower GI bleeding as per the massive bleeding, moderate bleeding, and the acute bleeding. Massive blood is a patient with the age, that is the more than 65 years, with the multiple medication problem, present as a hematochezia or the bright red blood per rectum, hemodynamically unstable, blood pressure will be 90 mm of Hg, heart rate is more than 100 per minute, low urine output, hemoglobin level is equal to 6 gram per dl, most commonly due to the diverticulosis, angiodysplasia, and mortality rate may be high as at 20%. We have to know the massive bleeding. This massive bleeding we can clear or we can diagnose with the help of that blood investigation, which can I explain in the first slide of this lecture. The moderate bleeding will be patient with any age, may present as the hematochezia or the melena. Hemodynamically patient is stable in case of the moderate bleeding. Long list of diseases including the benign anorectal, congenital, inflammatory, and neoplastic disease may cause moderate amount of acute or chronic bleeding. And in case of the acute bleeding, the patient with any age, patient present with microcytic hypochromic anemia due to the chronic blood loss. Long list of diseases including the congenital, inflammatory, and the neoplastic disease may cause the chronic occult bleeding. How and why I explain this in lab investigation? Because as according to the blood investigation, we can diagnose or we can reach to our goal, or we can confirm the diagnosis with the help of the blood investigation as the site of the bleeding. Differential diagnosis in case of the anorectal disorder. When pain and bleeding, it will be a fissure. Pain, lump and bleeding, it will be a prolapse hemorrhoid, carcinoma of the anal canal, prolapse, rectal polyp, or carcinoma or prolapse rectum. Diagnosis of the condition presenting with the rectal bleeding but no pain. There will be blood mixed with stool, that is colon carcinoma. Blood streak on stool, that is a rectal carcinoma. Blood after defecation, that is the hemorrhoids. Blood with mucus, that is the colitis. Blood alone will be diverticular disease, and melena, that will be a peptic ulcer. This is the most important differential diagnostic slide to reach our goal in case of the bleeding PR patient. This is the most important point, or this is most important slide in case of the bleeding PR we have to know. Differential diagnosis as per the age, that is in adult. The lower GI hemorrhage in adult will be diverticular disease, irritable bowel disease, benign amyloid diseases, neoplasia, coagulopathy, and arteriovenous malformation. These are the percentage of the patient as per the differential diagnosis in case of the adult. This is the differential diagnosis in the children, that is the lower GI hemorrhage in children and adolescent will be intussusception, that will be polyp and polyposis syndrome, that is the juvenile polyp or polyposis, PJ syndrome, familial adenomatosis polyposis, that is FAP, IBD, irritable bowel syndrome, that is the Crohn disease, ulcerative colitis, and intermittent colitis. And last but not the least, Makers diverticulum. According to the age, that is in the children and in the adult, these are the diagnosis we have to know, differential diagnosis we have to know in case of the bleeding PR. This is the causes of the bleeding. This is the most important slide, from where the bleeding comes and how we go with the diagnosis properly as per the causes of the bleeding. Makers diverticulum, carcinoma of the cecum, diverticula, angiodysplasia, ischemic colitis, carcinoma of the colon, polyps, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, solitary ulcer of the rectum, hemorrhoids, carcinoma of the anal canal. We have to go beyond the imagination. If the patient comes with the bleeding PR, then not only Arsha, you have to not only imagine the Arsha, but you have to know all the differential diagnosis will help to achieve the strong diagnosis from the bleeding. This is the causes of the bleeding. While checking the patient, you have to know the position of the patient. These are the position. First is the left lateral position, knee elbow position, lithotomy position, and the dorsal position. While checking the any PR bleeding patient, you have to check the patient in these four positions, that is left lateral position, knee elbow position, lithotomy position, and the dorsal position. Preparing the patient, first introduce yourself fully, including your role within the patient care. This is the most and important point while checking the patient as a medical legal importance. You have to introduce yourself fully, including your role within the patient care. Second, the reason and the nature of technique of the rectal examination should be explained to the patient. Informed consent can be gained. Reassure the patient that examination may be uncomfortable, but it should not be painful. The clinical room must be appropriate for an intimate examination and chaperone present for the duration. The private area of the patient to undress from the waist down should be available and cover for the patient provided. This is the most important preparation for the checking of the patient in case of the bleeding PR. Preparation of the patient 2. Patient should be asked to lie in the lateral position close to the edge of the bed with the hips and knee flexed. Explore only as much as necessary. A blanket should be draped across the patient to minimize the exposure and reduce the level of the patient vulnerability. Assistance by yourself or the chairperson should be offered to help the patient to get into position. Have a clean tray containing the jelly and the tissue. You have to know this clock as explained in the last lecture, but again I will show the clock. This is the 12, 3, 6 and 9. The inspection of the anus. Wash the hand and don a pair of disposable gloves. Gently separate the buttocks and inspect the natal cleft and anal verge. Look for the fissure, rashes, hemorrhoids, wart, etc. The position of an anal lesion is described in relation to the face of the clock. The anterior aspect of the anus is assigned to the 12 o'clock. Rectal examination technique. First we have to lubricate or glue the index finger. Place the pulp of the index finger on the posterior anal verge so as a small angle exists between the palmar surface of the finger and the lateral cleft. Press gently on the anus and slip the tip of the index finger into the anal canal by increasing the angle of the finger. Avoid using force. Wait for the sphincter to relax. If still difficult, do not continue with the examination. This third point is very much important in the rectal examination, as Guda is the Sadhya Pranahar Marma. So avoid using force. Wait for the sphincters to relax. If still difficult, do not continue the examination. The technique 2, insert the index finger into the rectum as far as it will go, following the sacral nerve. If there is a believed to be a problem with the anal sphincter, ask the patient to squeeze the examining finger to access the anal tone. Examine the posterior lateral wall of the rectum for palpable lumps or tears, that is, the rectal wall should be smooth. Lastly, assess the presence or absence of feces palpable as a mobile putty-like substance. In constipation, it may be hard, which you can indent with your fingertip. Rectal examination technique 3, rotate the wrist so that the finger pulp faces anteriorly and examine the anterior rectal wall. And in male examination, the prostate gland may be palpated in the female and the cervix may be palpable. These are the rectal examination technique you have to know in case of the rectal examination. Fourth technique is the rotate the wrist so that your examining finger is facing posteriorly again, and then withdraw finger. On withdrawal, check groove finger for the stool that is a normal color, pale stool, melena, etc. and any blood or mucus. Clean the patient, dispose of gloves and wash the hand. These are the technique you have to know while inspection of the anal canal. From the preparation of the anal canal, inspection of the anus, rectal examination part 1, rectal examination part 2, rectal examination part 3, rectal examination part 4. This is the most important point. Not only the lab investigation, not only the blood investigation, but with the help of the darshan, sparshan and prashna chikitsa, you can go with the perfect diagnostics which may help to treat the patient. In case of the hemorrhoid piles, the patient should be in the left lateral position. Inspection, first degree hemorrhoid show no outward abnormality. Second degree hemorrhoids may show the skin covered component when the buttocks are separated, or piles may prolapse when the patient strains. Third degree hemorrhoids show the red anal mucosa in their position, that will be 3, 7 and 11 position. In the digital examination, digital hemorrhoids can't be felt unless they are thrombosed or in the long-standing thickened piles, and should not apply for rectal examination. This is the inspection we have to do in case of the hemorrhoids. The investigation in case of the piles, first one is sigmoidoscopy, to essential to exclude or co-exclude the rectal pathology as carcinoma or the polyps. Second one is the Barian enema, indicated when sigmoidoscopy and proctoscopy can't explain the symptoms. And last but not the least, CBC, that is to rule out anemia, rarely happen in the long-standing piles. These are the investigation you have to do in case of the hemorrhoids. Investigation, that is the digital examination of in case of the PR bleeding. That is the first one is the proctoscopy. Proctoscope is consist of the two parts, that is the obturator and the proctoscope sheath. The indication for the proctoscope is the diagnostic and therapeutic purpose. For the diagnostic purpose, the hemorrhoids, fissure in ano, polyps, stricture, fistula ano, or for the biopsy of the tumor, you can do the proctoscopy. And for the therapeutic purpose, in case of the injection therapy, that is the cryotherapy and polypectomy, you can do the proctoscopy. There are two types of proctoscope. First is the illuminating or non-illuminating. The part of the proctoscope are the outer sheath, that is the proctoscope, and the obturator, that is the inner part of the proctoscope. This is the proctoscope is used for the diagnostic purpose of the PR bleeding in case of the Arsha Chikitsa. In case of the carcinoma of the rectum, the special investigation we can do the sigmoidoscopy to inspect and take a biopsy. Second one is the barium enema to indicate for the procedure are the growth isn't visualized by the sigmoidoscopy if a second tumor is suspected. Third one is the ulcerative colitis. Fourth one is the familial polyposis. Third one is the ultrasound of the abdomen to check the liver metastasis and the ascites. These are the special investigation in case of the carcinoma of the rectum. The next investigation in case of the Arsha Chikitsa, that is the sigmoidoscopy. Sigmoidoscopy is a test that looks at the rectum and the lower part of the large intestine. Colon is the medical term of the large intestine and the sigmoid colon is the lower part of the colon. The sigmoid colon ends in the rectum. This is how we can do the sigmoidoscopy in operation theatre or in the diagnostic area. These are the instruments which are used in case of the sigmoidoscopy. Investigation, that is the fecal occult blood testing. Normally, it will lose occult blood, that is the 0.5 to 1.5 ml blood per day from the GIT. There are three types of tests, that is the Jurassic based, that is the hemoccult 2 and hemoccult 2 sensor. It is the good for detecting large, more distal lesion, that is the inconsistent, need more than 10 ml daily blood loss for positive test 50% of time. Can detect as little as 1 ml of blood in stool affected by the dietary factors like foods which darken the stool makes it harder to read. False positive from the dietary iron. This is the most important test in case of the stool examination for the fecal occult blood testing. The another one is the immunochemical test in case of the fecal occult blood test. Do not detect bleeding from the upper GIT, localized to the colon only. It can detect as little as 0.3 ml of blood in the stool. And third one is the lab processing is required in the case of the immunochemical fecal occult blood testing. The third one is the heme porphyrin test. It is a very sensitive, high false positive rate, but it also required lab processing requirement. The fecal occult blood testing sensitivity may be 60 to 80%. False positive rate will be 5 to 13%. If the test is positive, patient required a colonoscopy or double contrast barium enema plus sigmoidoscopy. If the test is positive, the colon has been cleared unless if iron deficiency is present. No further investigation is necessary. This is the most important point in case of the fecal occult blood testing. When we can do the barium enema, when we can do the sigmoidoscopy, when we can do the another investigation. This is the most important test, fecal occult blood testing in case of the bleeding PR. The next point of investigation in case of the Arsha Chikitsa is the barium enema. There is no role in the diagnostic enema of acute lower GIT bleeding. It is used will obscure any subsequent attempts to visualize by angiography or colonoscopy. Double contrast enema has a 70%